Good afternoon, folks. October 22nd, 2018, 12:05 p.m. If you have any problem hearing me, please let me know. We rearranged some equipment here. Okay, so I'm going to start with oil, and then I'll shut down the recorder and then come back a minute later and do equities, anything that's hot on the day, and any of our swings that have alerted. FX US oil WTI, crude oil trading 69.05. We, at open, we're in a trade at 68.85. Covered 75% at 68.58. Yeah, 68.58 at 75%, and the last 25% at 50 cents. And here's the entry 10 minutes before open, 68.85. We're short from here. So 68.85 to 68.50. It definitely wasn't a bad trade, but it wasn't the whole trade. The whole trade started up here last night. So this would have been 3:30 in the morning. Now, I was actually up during this time in coding, actually, with the team. And we were watching it, and the machine executed, but I asked Jeremy to hold it back because I didn't believe it. So I'm going to stay out of the way of his alerts from now on. The machine coding is working really well. It's nailed all of these. So there was a nice short here. There was a nice long here. Nice short here. Nice long here. This got a little bit sloppy. Fairly decent long in here. A short here. Well, you know, this is all really clean, especially at the wider widths of the model. One of the members actually posted in the trading room today, in the Discord oil trading room. Well, there's some questions here for me too. Trade the model till it breaks and take your lumps when it does. So I know on the oil on the oil algorithm, the actual machine trading, there was some choppy in here. We're going to release the reports on it once it has some time under its belt. It's only been running for 6 days. There was some chop in here and in here. So it had some minor losses in here, but it caught all the big moves. I know for sure it had chop there and here. This it had chop for sure. Here it had a little bit chop this morning. We nailed, well, we were 10 cents or whatever off the bottom. Anyway, I've been looking to reshort, and I just haven't because I thought, well, you know what, I'll see how it goes for the rest of the afternoon. I didn't catch the long up. One of the members in the room, Rich, actually alerted that would be the scenario, and he was dead on. He said it would go into the 69s, and it's hit 69.33 here and then come off. Oh, so there's a question in the Discord room here about this, the wide swing trade ranges. So it's funny that you're on that topic because that's part of the coding that we're working on for the model, for the machine trading. So the machine trading, we have it coded to trade the outside of the algorithm. At this point, we're working on it trading the mid quads in every quad, because those obviously are decision points. And then there's all those hidden pivots I was showing you in the oil trading room on Discord this morning. I posted a chart for that. We haven't started coding those yet. So we haven't started coding these diagonals here. But as far as historical computations on this wide swing trading range, we haven't finished the computations on it, so we haven't started to code it yet. But there's no doubt, having traded this model now for a couple of years, that it seems to, and I don't think it's my mind playing with me, but until it's back tested, we won't be able to tell you, you know, when we can expect it to leave that pivot, because basically it's a pivot is really what it is. It's a wide swing range pivot. At least we know at this point where it is in each move, up and down, but we haven't coded it, so we haven't done the computational back testing on it. So that's about all I can say about it right now. I'm kind of hoping we get a bounce actually into this area here, back into the 69.32. Actually, I was, well, see the pivots right here. So I was looking for 69.38. It got to 69.34. And there's another example of my wanting to be too perfect when I'm trading, because I was gonna short 69.38, but it was early in this time cycle. So this time cycle comes due tonight around 9-10 o'clock at night, and that's why I haven't really shorted yet. But it's obviously in the down channel. Here's the mid channel. This is the upper resistance. This is the lower support. So yeah, what do you do? Hey? You can't catch every single trade in there either. I mean, if you get one a day in there, you're doing great, in my opinion. So another member just posted in the room, if it holds at 68.95, should be a good opportunity to go on to 69.30. So that 69.30 is in this time cycle here. Yeah, it's very likely. You know, it's either going to chase that one or it's going to chase this one, right? It's going to bounce and end up here, or it's going to drop and end up here. So this is its decision. This is the intraday decision. I have a bit of a lisp today because my teeth are very sore. I have a slight bone degenerative issue and heavy barometric pressure. Okay, so that's the model. Let's check the other charts out for a while here. But I think Rich is right. I don't know that it would get right back up here. I'm sure it would get down to the lower. Like if this loses the range, I'm sure it'll get the lower target, the upper target. I don't know if it would get it. In my opinion, it would get a little bit less, like 69.15 to 16 area, maybe 20. It bounces, but I don't think it's going to bounce here. I think it's going to sell off. What I was really watching, and I should have pointed this out sooner, is this trend line on the 1 minute. So that was good in the sell-off. It worked great. Got into the trading box. Didn't get quite to the bottom of the trading box because it hit support on the Epic model. This support here, there's a pivot there, a hidden pivot that I showed you guys in the trading room. But anyway, got up to this resistance area. So previous support now becomes resistance, and sure enough. So that's where we were going to short it. I was looking for, I think, 4 pennies more or something stupid. But again, you can't get them all. So we'll see how this plays out while I'm on mic here. This is that trend line chart, and this has been super predictable at resistance and support areas. It's almost like perfectly halfway right now. So it is definitely a decision time. It's a decision time on almost all the charts. This is that symmetry chart. And look at this. So it looks like it's going to return back to its symmetry. I didn't expect it to get all the way. In fact, I expected it to bounce fairly soon, but it's certainly looking like it's going back to its natural order here. If you look at how it's hit symmetry, wow. And typically when this happens, it tries to break and it comes back to symmetry, it's going to dump. Typically. I'm still bullish, by the way, even though all the funds have backed off. Anyway, historically, it'll do the same thing this way that it did sideways here, just so you know. Didn't catch the up. It breaks down, breaks underneath, and then it does 3 or 4 symmetrical moves down here. But we'll watch it. Again, decision area. Here's a clear argument for the bull case. This is a daily chart. This is the trading box. So we're in 3 days now where it's come down into the area of the top of the trading box. And it does have this quad wall here. And I wouldn't doubt. So what we got? 1, 2, 3 waves so far. It's tough. It's a decision there too, but I wouldn't doubt we end up right here, 70.85. All decisions. And you know, all that geopolitical stuff isn't going to help that decision at all. This is one of the most interesting charts in my opinion. This is that wedge. It's playing out almost perfect to the bottom of this time cycle here. Unreal. So, you know, perfect to the bottom would be 68.38 or so. And look at what we got here, 68.44. That hit over here. No, that's today. So it hit 44 again, that mid pivot. So last week it hit the 44, today it hit the 44. Anyway, watch out below if that loses this range. The upside of this is awesome. And this is what my thesis is right here. I know, it's crazy. 86 by February, March, April. Trump's going to do everything he can to hold oil down between, in my opinion, between now and the primaries. After the primaries, I think everything changes. I'm not really a geopolitical guy. I'm not a fundamental guy. I mean, to a point I am. I think the chart says, sure, there's some downside pressure possible, but my thesis is that Trump and other factors are going to coil this thing into a spring so hard that it's going to catch the shorts off guard. That's my expectation, but I'll trade the model. I laugh because, you know, I created the model and now I'm 2 years into it and I'm still learning how to respect the model. So here's a monthly chart. We got 200 MA in what, 69 area? No, it's not 69. It tells you exactly what a 200 MA is. 67.05. We're trading 68.97. 200 MA is $2 less. It's dumped the 200 MA a few times. This is in large part why I think we're not going to sell off heavy. See the 20 MA on the monthly? At the 200 MA, you get the 20 MA. If price, here's where the shorts I think will get caught. So if it sells off, because this is a decision area on all the charting, all the models, right? If it sells off and it gets support at that 20, and that 20 pushes it through and up, you know, it follows the 20 through that pivot and this 200 MA, it's gone. That's a nasty situation for the shorts. That's right ear sidewinder. And when I was trained to trade, that was one of the #1 trades. Now it's a weak one. It's not a real strong one, but it's enough to send it from 70 to 85, $86, just structurally. And it's been in this area for so long. When it first entered this area, I was clear that I thought it would stay here for a number of months. I'll be clear now and say I think it's going to dump under and freak out the longs. I think the shorts are going to get caught, and I think that massive coil after midterms is going to cause it to slingshot. And I think that's going to happen with a lot of things in the markets, including silver and gold and volatility, and possibly the dollar, and possibly crypto if they get their hand off it, if enough pressure comes onto it. So that's what we're watching. let's say it is, the bear side does win here. And look, I'll weigh myself, I'll lean myself at the decision here. If it sells off, I'll lean myself south until it tells me to, trim. I want a big move. Either way, I want a big move into Christmas. I want a, if not a career-setting oil trade, a serious, this range in here hasn't been the easiest, and technical traders have done okay. We've done fine. But I would really like to see, something like this that we can leg into. So that's my expectation, and I think the geopolitical and the fundamentals and a few other things are setting up to really catch the shorts off guard. Now, the funds, sure, they sold off up here at the 100 MA, and they've been buying and selling. They've been in at the 200 and out at the 100 on the monthly since it entered this range, if you go back and check. So, get ready for the funds to be buying down here, right? That's what I'm saying, I guess. But if it sells off, then on the monthly, so going to the bearish thought process, your 20 MA is going to be your test on that chart. If it does sell off, the trading box down here is 67.34, and then another support at 65.50 area. So 67 to 67.30. May as well call it 67 and 65.50. You got another top of a trading box here at 64.17. The 20 MA on the monthly here is call it 60. It's 59.88, 59.87, and to get into 60 on this chart, you'd have to be down here. It'd have to be one heck of a retrace, but it could. To get into that area on here, you're on the daily, you're below that trading box. You're right down into the support here. So even the sell-off retrace support areas are all kind of confirming in the same range. Here, if you got 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, on this next oil report, I'll do some retracements for you. Yeah, you're going to end up in the same range. 4 steps. You might only get 3, but anyway, you'd probably get 4 if it dumps. This is a little worse. So half of that, so 2 steps, or a bullish retracement. So only half a retracement here brings it into that 60 area, and then goes. It's very possible. That would kind of go with midterms. I guess the timing wouldn't, though. Interesting. So this is me live figuring it out for myself on the most predictable of all the charts, the trendline chart. 69 is your support. No, I'm talking about 65. Sorry, guys. 65 is your support, not 69. That's 66 that the other charts were referencing. That's where the 50 MA is, approximately. Ish. It's a little higher than that right now, but by the time I got down, well, yeah. So those are things to watch if it does sell off. Either way, I don't care if it's up or down. I'm going to leg in heavy when it breaks the main supports, or breaks, it finds support and heads upside. Either way, I want to leg in. So where did that 4-hour chart go? That's the question, right? So here's what we're doing. So Rich so far has got the right idea. So this is our bounce. I can't take the long because for it to get up and hold this previous resistance would be, well, Let's take a look at what Rich's call was there. 69.30, yeah, so he's right at that resistance. But considering there's pressure on oil right now, the long side, I'm just not going to take it until it proves up over, at least intraday supports. That 4 hour, I wanted to look at that real quick. I'm not sure why I didn't load that, so let me kill some of these charts here. There's really nothing new on there, but for anybody that isn't in the trading room and reviews this tonight, I want to make sure that they see it. So there's a couple small tells on this chart I'll show you. Possible tells, right? So in summary, if you didn't even have charts in front of you, what you're watching for is a bounce here in this region. If it's bouncing, go with it. If it doesn't go, watch this support area. So you could be on your phone without a chart and know around 68.50 you're in trouble, lower than the low of today, because then 69s are very possible, or 67s are very possible. So under 68.50, 67s are in play, down to possibly 67. And then even possibly further if it dumped, right? So, you could just take out a pen and paper if you're on a telephone. You don't have a chart in front of you right now or in the future, near future. 68.50 is your decision point. That's your support. And then below that, on the 4 hour chart, your other main support is in the 67 area. If it holds 68.50, you may as well take the bounces up until it proves otherwise. Now, if you look at where it bounced before, at this trend line support, it hit it twice. It back traded to support and then ran. Here, it tested it 3 times. The first time it bounced, second time it lost it just a bit, and then regained it, and the third time it lost it, and then it went down to that trend line below. There's really, there's a number of trend lines, I guess, but there's 2 primary ones. But the point is, it doesn't seem to hit it. It doesn't seem to just slice right through. It seems to test, right? Here it did it. The time prior, 3 times. The time prior to that, twice. The time prior to that was really sloppy. That was in March. And that, by the way, was when I made my turn. So I was frustrated in there, and I got angry. We were coding, and we were having a hard time with the coding because we were in this falling wedge sloppiness. And then when it bounced, I hit between here and here. I think I hit 100% of my trades. My intraday trades. I think it was between here and here. Anyway, it was really clean all the way through here. I didn't leg in though, because we were coding tighter time frames and we were working with the models. When you're coding, all of these things require a different part of the brain and different skill set, right? If you're a trader, if you're an intraday trader or a swing trader, if you're coding, if you're teaching, as a coach. Anyway, I can't remember all the different categories. But I know 2 psychologists on the markets, and both of them were telling me how stretched my brain was getting doing, performing all the functions. Now I'm on the other side of it with the coding, and that was the hardest part because you get into so many micro details. But anyway, back here too. So, it tested it, lost it a little bit, tested, lost a little bit, and ran. But the point is, these trend lines are getting tested more than once. This was sloppy here, but after the sloppy part, since then, it's been really clean when it tests these trend lines. So bottom line, go back to your support at 68.50, the low of the day today. If you lose that, your next support on the main trend line is 67. If it's above 68.50, I'd stay bullish long. I'd stay bullish long until that 68.50 is lost. And then that 68.50 gives you a range to 67, and then 67 has to get lost. And then, you have to be careful on the way down, but there could be a retrace, and you have to consider the waves here too, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4 very clear waves, and there's a good argument for the bears in those wave counts. If you do a study on this area for a retrace, and that would, if you want to do it in its simplest form, like if it was just a moderate retrace, we can even just do the simple retrace right now, just on this range. Forget the whole move, because I won't do that right now. I'm not sure if this is right. Well, it's going to be close. Anyway, I'll do some work on the retracement, but the way that oil trades, the way it retraces, kind of giving away a trade secret here, but bear with me. One that we don't talk about. So I'll try and tell you without, telling the world. There's heavy support in that 61 area, 60.92 to be exact. Now, this might not be right. I'd have to back test this. So that 60.61 is your retrace. If it loses, so the point being here, to make it simple, you take out a piece of paper and a pen. Your support right now is 68.50. That happens to be the low of the day, previously tested last week. You lose that, your next support is 67. You lose that, and you're probably going to get a retrace into 61 and the bounce. And considering that Trump wants oil down before the midterms, it could happen. But I think that would cause a coil so intense, you're at 86 early next year. Okay, so that's my bias. We'll see if it plays out. It doesn't really matter. Trade the model and go from there. But that's the bias for or the setups for long and short for larger moves that can be legged in. That's what I know. So I'm going to stop the recorder and I'm going to come back to equities.